In this video, we will talk about some great thinkers who emerged during the later Vedic age. We will also talk about the new faiths and beliefs that emerged during the later Vedic age. But before that, let's know about the Vedic period, also known as Vedic age. So, the Vedic period is divided into two parts, the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. The early Vedic period ranges from 1500 to 1000 BCE, and the later Vedic period ranges from 1000 to 600 BCE. So, talking about the early Vedic period, the people who composed the Vedas are called themselves Arya or the noble ones. The Aryan society was classified on the basis of occupation or profession into four varnas, also known as classes. The four varnas were the Brahmins, who were the priests, the Kshatriyas, who were the rulers and the warriors, the Vaishyas, who were the traders, cultivators, and skilled workers, and the Shudras, who served the other three groups and did the menial jobs. Also, the Vedas were the main religious book of the Aryans. The Vedas are composed in Sanskrit. There are four Vedas: the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Samaveda, and the Atharva Veda. The Rig Veda is the oldest of the Vedas. The Vedas contain hymns or songs in praise of God. They also contain details of rituals to be performed to appease the god. So now entering into the later Vedic age, by 7th century BCE, that is by 700 BCE, the Vedic religion had lost its simplicity. The society's main focus was now on a variety of expensive rituals. Elaborate sacrifices such as the Rajasuya and the Ashmaveda were performed by Brahmins priests on the behalf of chiefs and kings. Thousands of animals, especially cows, were killed for these sacrifices. This affected the common people who depended on the animals for their livelihood. As mentioned earlier, also, the Varna system was no longer flexible. A person's caste was largely decided by birth and not by occupation. Even the original inhabitants of the land were considered outcast and were treated badly. On the other hand, the power of the Brahmins increased. They declared that the only way to reach God was through them, and all the rituals are to be performed through them only. But soon, people started questioning the power of the Brahmins. People questioned the relevance of ritual and sacrifices. Even people were not happy with the caste system. Some people felt that the need to understand the purpose of life and the meaning of death. As a result of widespread feeling of discontent, several new ideas and beliefs were born. Different schools of thought emerged. Around 60 different schools of thought were believed to have emerged in India around 6th century BCE. Out of many schools of thought, the ones that attracted the people to itself were the Jainism, Buddhism, and the teachings of the Upanishads. So now let's know about the Upanishads, Jainism, and Buddhism one by one. The Upanishads. The literal meaning of Upanishad is to sit down near one and gain knowledge. It refers to the wisdom learnt at the feet of the Guru. Upanishads are also records of knowledge given by Guru to their pupils sitting near them. Upanishads are a set of books written in the form of dialogue or debates between the teachers and their disciples. They are a storehouse of Indian philosophy. The Upanishads are believed to have been composed between the 7th century and the 4th centuries BCE, though some may have been composed at a much later date. The Upanishad had thrown a light on a number of questions which were in the mind of several people at that time. According to Upanishad, a person could reach God through bhakti. Bhakti means personal devotion to God. This could be done without the help of priests or rituals or sacrifices. The Upanishads also taught the law of karma, that is, the concept that we experience in our present life is the result of our past action. The Upanishads laid stress on the practice of yoga and meditation for a healthy life. Jainism. Jainism gained widespread popularity under Vardhaman Mahavira. Vardhaman Mahavira is believed to be the last of the 24 Tirthankaras. The roots of Jain faith are traced from the 24 Jinas or Tirthankaras. A Jina is one who conquered anger, passion, greed, and ego through meditation and self awareness. The followers of a Jina are called Jains. So, the last Tirthankara, Vardhaman Mahavira, was born around 599 BCE near Vaishali in Bihar. He was a Kshatriya prince of the Lichavi clan. He belonged to a royal family. He was married to a girl named Yashoda and had a child too. However, when he was 30, he left his family and he renounced the family ties and wandered in search of truth. He lived in forest for 12 years and lived a hard life. He spent 12 long years in prayers and penance, after which he attained enlightenment. That is, he attained the highest spiritual knowledge. Then he spent the next 30 years of his life spreading his teachings to a large number of followers. He spread his teachings in the Prakrit language. Prakrit language was commonly spoken by the people. He died around 527 BCE in Pava, which is around present day South Bihar, and the religion which he established came to be known as the Jainism. The teachings of Mahavir. Mahavir stressed on three things, that is, right faith, right knowledge, and right action. These teachings were called Tri Ratna or Three Jewels. He also laid emphasis on the attainment of Nirvana or freedom from the cycle of life and death. This was possible only if one could get rid of karma or destiny. A person could get rid of karma by leading a good and disciplined life. The spread of Jainism. Jainism attracted many followers. One of the main reasons for this was that Mahavira taught in Prakrit, which was common language of the people. Later, the followers of Jainism were broke up into two groups, that is the Shvetambaras and the Digambaras. The group of Digambaras did not wear clothes, they were sky clad. The Shvetambaras wore white garments. Shvetambaras Jainism is more widespread these days. Buddhism. Siddhartha Gautam, also popularly known as Buddha, was a founder of Buddhism. He is a contemporary of Mahavir. Many miracles and legends are connected with the birth of Siddhartha. Siddhartha was born around 563 BCE in Lumbini, which is in present day Nepal. When he took birth, the saint suggested that one day he will become a great sage and will be remembered years after. His father, Suddhodana, who was a chief of the Shakya clan, never wanted this to happen. To prevent this from happening, his father shielded him from all sufferings and hardships. Siddhartha Gautam never faced a day of difficulty in his life. He also got married in his youth and had a son named Rahul. One fine day, Siddhartha was gone out of his palace to the royal park. On the way to the park, he saw three sights which he never knew before. Firstly, he saw an old man, then he saw a sick man, and then he saw a corpse or a dead body. He was deeply affected by these sights. He was really saddened to see the sufferings around him. Before this, he had no idea regarding the sufferings of an old man, a sick man, neither he knew that one day a person will die. Then finally he saw an ascetic. There was peace on man's face. Ascetic is a person who has given all the worldly life. Ascetic abstains themselves from the normal pleasures of life or denies themselves of material satisfaction. Well, after this incident, the Prince Siddhartha decided to leave his family and to search for the truth and meaning of life. He, at the age of around 29 years, left his home. He wandered for years and led a very difficult life. He sat under a peepal tree and sank into deep meditation for 49 days at Bodh Gaya. One fine day, he attained enlightenment. It was around 528 BCE. He was around 35 years, and now Siddhartha came to be known as the Buddha or the Enlightened One. Teachings of Buddha. Buddha declared that a life of moderation is a way to attain peace and happiness. There is a noble eightfold path or the middle path to achieve moderation. The noble eightfold path is the right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right contemplation or concentration. People who follow this middle path would find peace and enlightenment. Like Mahavir, Buddha also spoke to the people in Pali. Pali was the local language of the people. He preached ahimsa or non violence and spoke against the caste system. Buddha's teaching soon attracted a large following. The spread of Buddhism. In some time, the followers of Buddhism split into two groups, Hinaya and Mahayana. The Mahayana Buddhists made images of Buddha and worshipped them. The Hinayana group also started performing rituals. On the other hand, the Hinayana Buddhists believed this to be against the teachings of Buddha. They believed that nirvana could be achieved only by following the middle path or the Four Noble Truths. The Sangha. Both Mahavir and Buddha established orders of monks and nuns known as Sanghas. Sanghas were groups of monks and nuns who traveled around the country spreading the teachings of Mahavira or Buddha. The monks used to go through spiritual training to attain enlightenment. Both Buddhists and Jains made some basic rules to be followed by the Sanghas. The monks had to lead a life of poverty, simplicity, and chastity. To join the Sangha, permission had to be sought from their parents and, in case of a married woman, her husband. This voluntarily chosen life of hardship commanded respect from the ordinary people. It was mainly through the efforts of the Sangha that Buddhism and Jainism spread the way they did. Monasteries, stupas, and chaityas. Buddhism built many monasteries, stupas, and chaityas that can be seen even today. Monasteries were places where the monks of the Sanghas lived and prayed. Stupas are dome shaped structures where relics of Buddha are preserved. A chaitya is a Buddhist shrine or hall of worship. So, this was all about the great thinkers and new beliefs of the Vedic age. If you really like our video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Also, subscribe to our channel